This is your boy Leon D. We're going to talk about a lot of things on this podcast, primarily food. I like to talk about food a lot, but we're going to talk about food around the world. We're going to talk about some other things that's going to touch your heart or make you mad. It really don't matter, but I'm going to tell you about it though. DJ Leon D. Peace. Let's get it on. Hello, family. It's your boy DJ Leon D. I'm here to talk about barbecue and barbecue chains. When I say chains, I'm talking about restaurant chains. Now, like I told you before, I'm only going to tell you what I know. Every chain I'm going to mention, I have eaten there at least twice. Not sure why I did some of them twice, but at least twice. And I'm going to rank them from worst to best. I'm going to tell you when I get to the midway point of I will eat there again. The top half I will eat again. But let me get right down to it and tell you about some places that you are gonna not believe because some of you eat there a lot. Let's start with Dickey's Barbecue out of Dallas, Texas. Dickey's is terrible. They use canned beans, probably use canned other sides, and the mac and cheese is made days in advance, and the brisket uses liquid smoke. They probably use liquid smoke on all their meats because, it's kind of hard to start it using liquid smoke on certain things and not finish it off with the other things like the ribs, the sausages. But Dickey's is not very good. They are, out of these 15 chains, they are the worst there is. Now, there's some chains I ate at, but they're not national, like Salt Lake of Austin. Very, very good, but they're not national. But these are ones that are in multiple states. Another place a lot of people like a lot, especially in the South, is a place called Smoky Bones. That's really is a sports bar. That's not a barbecue joint. You do not see any smokers out back. If you do, they just blowing smoke. They're not cooking any kind of food. Smoky Bones is a place that I have relatives who love that place. But here's the funny part about it. Sometimes you go to a place that's not very good. You don't know they're not very good until you go to other places. And see, as a barbecuologist, I'm here to tell you about the other places. Because if you go into Dickey's and Smoky Bones got about 45 to 50 restaurants nationwide. But they're only in the South. Now, another place that just got some terrible barbecue, and people go to them a lot, the 13th worst is Billy Sims Barbecue. That's all hype. That's the old running back from Oklahoma. That's all hype. The food is not any damn good. There's no smoke on the barbecue. He just gets a lot of celebrity endorsements. And of course, if you pay me, I probably endorse you as well. But I'm not going to be out here making YouTube videos and telling you how good the food is when it depends on which restaurant you go to. Because I went twice. I had decent food, but not great food. And then I found out it depends on which restaurant you go to. There is no consistency at all. None at all. So that's why I went back twice. Another place that I ran across when I was in Atlanta is a place called Shane's Rib Shack out of McDonough, Georgia. If you like food with no flavor, no seasoning, no taste, go there. Because their food don't have any of that. And, it's sad when you go to a restaurant and the side dishes really, really shines versus the main dishes. Because when you spend your $25, $30 on food, the meat is the main player unless you're in a vegan restaurant. But if you're in a regular restaurant, the meat is the main player. So, that place just is one of the places that I'm never going to again. Now, as we go down to number 11, the food starts getting better. And some of these I would revisit, but I'm going to tell you the ones I would revisit. I'm going to tell you the best chain barbecue restaurants to go to in America. A lot of people sell barbecue food. Not many do it very, very well because that's time consuming. And see, a lot of the ones out of Memphis I didn't bring up because here's how it works. These are chains only, not the one off mom and pop that got great food or bad food. These are chains. There's a place I went to when I was in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. A lot of locals said it was very, very good. It's called the Rib Crib. No. I went to two different ones, and the food from both restaurants were bad. They were consistently bad. You can tell that nobody who cooks that food has any passion at all. They have absolutely no passion. The food didn't have any smoke on it. Neither place. The meat on the edges, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're looking for that crust on it. You're looking for that char on it. You're looking for that smoke flavor. You don't get any of that. Not at the Rib Crib. Now, at number 10 is a place called Bill Miller Barbecue out of San Antonio. I've been there, and I went the first couple times I wanted to try it out to make sure that what I had the first time was just as bad what I had the second time. But people, you ain't gonna get no quality. It's fast food. I don't like my food cooked days in advance. It's fast food. That meat was prepared at least a week before I got there. When I tasted it, it was flat. When I say flat, no flavor at all. It tastes like almost like someone boiled the meat and then threw it on a small little smoker and had it ready, about a week before you got there. Yeah. And don't even look at the sides. Everything's out of a can. If it ain't, it should be, because I've had canned food better than that. Now, one place that people like a lot, and they're all over the state of Florida, Sonny's Barbecue. Sonny is in places where there's no competition. Sonny is out of Gainesville, Florida. The food, it's better than the other places I've listed so far. The food is just not there. Do I think Sonny's can get there? Yes. I think if they hire somebody with passion and someone who knew when meat was done, I think they'll be all right. So Sonny's is one of the places that, would I go there again? And like I just said, Sonny's are only in places where there's no competition. If there's competition, I would try them before I went back to Sonny's. Sonny's been around since 1968 in Gainesville. It's been around a long time. And some people swear by it. If you like cornbread or you like the side dishes is all you care about, yeah, go there again. Sonny's menu been the same since the 60s. And his decor looked like he's still in the 60s. Now, another place, too, that's big nationwide. And the food is not bad. I do like the cornbread. The food is not bad. But I think the food was better before Corporation Greed got into it. That's Famous Dave's. Famous Dave's food is not bad. It's not a place that you're going to hate. But it's just not as good as other places that I'm going to talk about in a minute. It's just not as good, but it could be. But I think corporate greed got involved because it seemed like, and I don't mean just because the portions are smaller than they were back in the old days. Everything is smaller. It just, get over that. I just think that they don't focus on what they do very well, which is the chicken and the ribs. They don't focus on that, and they should, because those are things that are very, very tasty at Famous Dave's. They've been around since 1994, and they're out of Minneapolis or somewhere in Minnesota. But Dave Anderson needs to focus on that and quit entering barbecue contests that he's never going to win. Nope. Now, another store out of Leon Springs, Texas, and it's not bad food at all, especially considering the fact that they started in a gas station, Rudy's Country Store. Rudy's, they got the equipment. They got, the problem I have with Rudy's is that they get young kids. Young kids just screw things up. Not knowing dark meat from white meat. It's that kind of stuff. I mean, simple stuff. The food was not bad. At least the three I went to, and the guy I dealt with, the food was not bad at all. I actually enjoyed the food until I bit into my chicken and I said I didn't want breast. I told you I want it all dark. And the guy says, it's been cooked, so it's dark. Young kid, it's been cooked, so it's dark. What the hell you mean? And I understand that young kids are the only ones that's going to take minimum wage and run with it. I understand that. But you should be knowing which pieces of meat are which. If I got to tell you leg versus dark, and you give me a thigh, I'm good. Both of them are part of your leg. But you give me a breast, no, I don't get that. Now, this is another place that was been around since 1996. It's called Papa's Barbecue. A lot of these places are in the South, and you may notice that through my theme. But Papa's Barbecue is part of the Papa's Restaurant Empire out west. They got some good brisket, good ribs, good service. They just now got to get, the right equipment to get that great smoke. But the food is good. Would I go back? Hell yeah. That's number 6 on my list, going from number 15 to number 1. That's number 6. Now, it's a place called Moe's Original Barbecue out of Vail, Colorado. Yeah. And they're also in Alabama. That's where I went to them at. I'm going to tell you right now from the bat. They're number 5 on my list from worst to the best. And they got some fried green tomatoes. You know what? Who in the South can't cook fried green tomatoes? Because their fried green tomatoes is off the chain. And I like a good fried green tomato. Like I was saying about Moe's Original Barbecue in Alabama, they use Alabama white sauce, which is a mayonnaise-based sauce. I'm not big on that, but theirs tasted pretty. It's almost like he added pickles or something to it. It tasted pretty decent, but I'm still not a fan of it. Don't get me wrong, because I like mine sweet and sassy. I'm strictly a ketchup-based type person. I'm strictly a ketchup type when it comes to my sauces, and believe me, I can make any of them. But mayonnaise-based just don't excite me. Not at all. But like I said earlier, the fried green tomatoes, all the sides at Moe's are good. You're not going to find a bad side. You're just not going to find one. And they care about customer service. They really do. That's just one of the things that I like seeing that. And you don't see somebody trying to carry too much crap. They one person carries one dish. Here's one out of Ohio that kind of surprised me. When I went out there, I went camping in Ohio. I went to a place in Columbus called City Barbecue. I'm going to tell you what is great on their menu, the corn pudding. All the meat was tender. All the meat was good. Everything is fresh. That changes the taste of food. Everything is fresh. So I was kind of like, this is all right, But they've been around since 1999 from what one of the guys told me. And it seemed like the managers care. They watch the employees, they watch a whole lot of things, and they watch the customers more than anything else to make sure that what you got, is satisfactory. Yeah, they do all that. So I was kind of like, this is all right, But I really had no complaints, especially considering I'm in the Midwest. The Midwest, they're not known for barbecue. Unless you count Memphis and Kansas City, and those are, is Kansas City the Midwest? I guess it is, because a lot of people think it's out west. I don't know. On the East Coast, if you're west of the Mississippi, you're west. The Midwest, we look at that as in Indiana, Ohio, Illinois, those kind of states. Because hell, you can call Denver Midwest, but most people call Denver the West. But considering where I was at, the barbecue was very, very good. A place called City Barbecue. Been around since 1999, and the one I went to was in Columbus, Ohio. Now, that was number 4. Number 3, I knew by the name that food was going to be good. Lucille's Smokehouse. I knew by the name that food was going to be good. And that restaurant did not disappoint me at all. And I just said, this is one of the best barbecue joints I ever been to. Been around since 1999. Every side. And the one thing I didn't tell you earlier was on City Barbecue, they had corn pudding, which is unusual. And the corn pudding was the bomb. Lucille got all kind of stuff on it. Everything is fresh. Everything is made that day. I like a barbecue joint that when they run out of food, they close. That told me that they did not prep enough food for a week and one day. They did not do everything in one single day. Nope. They prepped that morning. And they said it's kind of like Aaron's barbecue of Texas. First come, first serve. When we run out, we're out. That's a good, true barbecue joint. Now, one place down in Alabama that is the bomb. They got a great reputation. They've been around since 1989. That's a place called Jim and Nick's. They're out of Birmingham. If you go there, get the cheddar biscuits. Get the cheddar biscuits. Everything on the menu was great and was good. Every single thing on that menu was great and was good. But you got to get the cheddar biscuits. And so they are a game changer. And then sometimes, you go to places where the size is so great. See, that's the second best place I've been to out of chain barbecues. And I'm not writing this because I've been to 2 or 3 barbecue joints. Nah, let's go over 1,000. I go to a barbecue joint at least once every 2 or 3 weeks. And been doing it since I had my first income. But Jim and Nick's, though, out of Birmingham, Alabama. Everything is good. The meat's done professionally. The meat is tender. So I don't mean fall off the bone. Fall off the bones means it's overcooked. Everybody who can cook knows that. The best place, the best chain I've ever been to, without a doubt, is Mission Barbecue. Mission Barbecue got the best food at any chain that you're gonna run across. They can compete with a lot of the mom and pop barbecue shacks. They are in the same league. They've been around since 2011 out of Glen Burnie, Maryland. The 2 dudes who started it, they did it to help veterans and to give back. Veterans and first responders, should I say. But they ain't in the same league because I'm a veteran. But those 2 dudes, what they started was a great thing. And the consistency, no matter which one you go to in this country, you get the same bite. You get the same bite. I don't care if you go to one in Florida, you go one in Maryland where they started at, you go to one in Ohio. You get the exact same quality of service, quality of food, and their size is just off the chain. And I'm going to tell you something they do that most people don't do. They can cook the hell out of turkey. Most people can't cook turkey, not barbecue it, without breaking it all up. I can chop up any kind of meats and make it taste good. But a turkey, a whole turkey, they are probably the best I've ever run across. Barbecue turkey, smoked turkey, you name it. You got a turkey, they are the people for you. Because turkey takes a lot of patience, and the breast in turkey is big as hell. You get a 20, 25 pound turkey, that breast is big. And to cook all that stuff evenly is hard to do. Now, one thing I did notice about Mission Barbecue, they have a lot of Hispanic workers smoking the food. And you know what? You see the smoker right there in front of you. You see food going in, you see food coming out. You just cannot do a lot better than that. Mission Barbecue, out of those 15 chains I just named, Dickey's by far, they're not in the same league as the top 5. When you look at Dickey's and some of the other places, they're not in the same league as Jim and Nick's, Mission Barbecue, Lucille's Smokehouse, or City Barbecue, or Moe's Original Barbecue. They're not in that same league. They are, I think a lot of you, see, when you deal with chains, who gets in the way is normally corporate greed. Mission Barbecue don't give you that sense. And then Mission Barbecue let you taste the size before you order them. They let you taste the size. That's telling you, I ain't got no shame in my game. Here, try it out, because I know you're going to buy it once you taste it. Once you taste it, you're going to buy it. So try it out. I ain't got no shame in my game. A lot of people don't want to give you a taste test. But you know what, though? I'm going to tell you why. That food is pre-made, and it's put in little cups, That's why you can't alter the menu in a lot of places. Everything is already made. Everything's already put together. No. You make it, has people order it the same day. You're not going to sit there and do beans every hour. You do beans. See, in Memphis, one thing I did like about a couple shacks like Corky's and stuff, when they run out, they run out. They tell you, we out. You want brisket? We ain't got no more brisket. Should have came earlier. Should have got hungry. You should got hungry earlier. And that's the part that people don't really understand. That's a sign that people will line up for your food if they know they got a small window to get your food. You ain't got to tell them I got 100 pounds of brisket. You ain't got to say I got 100 pounds of brisket. You ain't got to tell them that. No, I got brisket. I ain't got no more brisket. Let them know. I ain't got to tell you what I got, what I don't have in my kitchen. If you want it, you think it's worth it, you come, you line up and get some. I'm not saying you're going to get some today, but if you want and you heard about it and you think it's that good, come get some. And see, and good barbecue, a real father, brother, husband, uncle, with good barbecue, he ain't finna let little Johnny screw it up. You sit your behind down, I'm bringing food to you. I don't want you to line up for no food and you mess around and drop this good barbecue. Because guess what? I'm not getting no more free. I got to pay again. So that's how the barbecue world works, everybody. You got the chains and you got all the good stuff. And chains is never my preference when I travel. But sometimes when I go places, I don't have a lot of options. But I do have the option of getting barbecue or not getting barbecue. And I like trying out different places. Some places got 5 or 6, different restaurants or the same restaurant and 5 or 6 of them in the same city. I don't call you a chain unless you cross borders. If you cross state borders, now you're a chain. If you just somebody like, you go out to Memphis, they got a few families that's got 5 or 6 different restaurants. And that's fine, but they're only in Memphis or next door in Arkansas, and we know most people don't expand from Memphis to Arkansas or to Mississippi. No. I want you to be in 5 or 6 different states so I can test the quality and see what the quality is like across state lines. Because every state got different regulations, different standards, different cleaning methods. I like consistency. I like to taste the same type of food when I go to a different restaurant with your name on it. Now, I'll do one in the future about rib shacks. Because, see, I love a shack. That's where you see the owner out there sweating. I love that. I'll give you an update on that as well. And like I said, there are other restaurants. There's more than one of them, but they are really localized or regionalized. So I didn't mention them, but I'll bring them up in another video. But this is your boy DJ Leon D telling you these are the 15 chain restaurants from worst to best by my ranking. Peace out.